Let's talk about Chadwick Boseman next. If we have time for Amazon, we can talk about that last. Is that cool?
Yeah,
Sure.
word.
Okay.
R.I.P. Man, I was really upset when I saw that.
I still can't believe it.
I'm really upset. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
Me not
for people who don't know, which you should by now, but like he was fighting colon cancer for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And like no one knew. Like
he didn't tell anyone about it.
Like that's a crazy thing. Like all these clips of him from like within these 4 years of him doing all this cool and like fun stuff, and like this whole time he was fighting cancer. It gets me, man. It's too sad.
Just a quick backstory. Obviously, people know him from Black Panther. He was in 21 Bridges. Haven't seen that yet. Also,
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie, that's 42, right? And then Get On Up, right?
I haven't seen that one. But
Yep.
Get On Up. That was a story of it's hurting my I look bad.
James
right
Brown.
now. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
word.
Thank you.
He killed that. By
Did
the
he?
way.
I've never seen it. Was it really good?
Defy
Yes.
Bloods. Did you finish that yet? I saw part
I
of it.
haven't started it.
It's directed by Spike Lee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just for me, I have to watch things like twice when they're like super. There's a lot of layers to it.
You have
It
to
has a
think
lot of
about it,
layers to
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So we were talking on the phone about it last night. But I mean, I think it pretty much in agreement with everyone saying what's amazing is that he never asked for like, 'cause when someone is like sick or something really detrimental is happening in their life, I don't want to say they're asking for pity, but they make it public and for different reasons, right? But he never, because I was watching past interviews, I was doing all the research and looking at his past interviews, he never mentioned it once.
No,
So
never.
I kind of speak to his character, huh?
Yeah. He seems like a really good guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like a talented actor and like I don't know. And even with like
Selfless.
Yeah, selfless. And like even when he was like after Black Panther came out and it was like this big deal, he was always seemed super gracious about like people coming up to him being like, yeah, you're Black Panther and doing the Wakanda thing. Like he was always,
Right.
He was always like he always seemed so gracious with stuff like that. You know what I mean?
There was an interview he did, and he was talking about two kids that are terminally ill, like young kids, and they knew that their time was numbered.
Yeah.
All they wanted to do was live to be able to see Black Panther. That's how much they looked up to him and looked up to what the movie stood for them. And he started crying on
Yeah, I
can't
saw
plan
that.
stuff. He started crying during the interview. So
Yeah, talking about it.
yeah, I think that's when you know someone is who they are. As a
For
person.
sure.
I think you get to know someone's
100%.
character based off that because you can't fake tears.
Right. Yeah. No, it's.
I'm sure you have a lot
sad.
to say because you were telling me yesterday when we were talking on the phone.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does speak a lot to his character and the fact that he was, working, and doing all these movies within those 4 years, and making money. And I hope that he like enjoyed, everything he was doing while he was doing it. I mean, it just kind of makes me think about, nothing is promised for us. Tomorrow's never promised for us. The only thing we can promise really is death. As sad as that might be, but I think at the same time it's like let's make the most of our time. So and I guess to me, like I guess I have a few issues as far as like I wish we had a society. To me, it's like I think it's amazing he was doing those movies, but like he was still like working, right?
Yeah.
I wish that like we had like a way where let's say we didn't have to worry about paying bills to make sure we're making money and stuff like that, so that if we're sick, we can focus on like getting better, like 100%. You know what I mean? Of course, I've got to give him props for like working and doing all those things. It shows how strong he was, during that time. But as far as like people that are probably going to be sick or sick right now that still have to go to work, whether it's acting, whether it's going and working at, Safeway as a cashier. I mean, they have to work through it to pay bills.
Yeah.
Some
are risking their life to do it. I get it.
Yeah. So it just kind of, to me, it's, it's sad.
It
he's
is sad,
43, man.
Then there's a lot like kind of what you were saying too, and I think for someone like him, he was in. I don't want to say lucky, but like he. I could only assume that he wanted to do those things. Like if you're sick,
I would say so.
You want to
I'm
do.
glad you said that.
You want to do what makes you happy, and that's I would assume for him is acting and pursuing his art form and making movies and portraying these characters.
Is it feasible? And again, this is just taking a guess, but is it feasible that he didn't want to make it public? Maybe A, because he's private, and B, because he didn't want to make it about him and he wanted his work to speak for itself and put out all this great work so people are doing exactly what we're doing now, talking about it, remembering, and maybe changing. Is that possible? He wanted to put out as much content and work as possible. and let that speak for itself.
I would
Because
hope
he
so.
knew
I would
obviously
hope so.
that he didn't know I don't know how long that he'd be alive, right?
Yeah.
He didn't make this about him.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
For sure. I would hope that he would want to, like you said, he would want to just make the things that he wanted to make, and that would make an impact without it being about him.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to definitely make the most of his time.
Why do you think? I mean, I kind of said what I'm taking a guess at, but why do you think he chose to keep it private? Like he didn't mention it at all.
He seems like he's a private person.
Yeah,
in
like
general.
do you know anything else about him? I don't.
I don't.
I don't know
That's what I'm
anything.
saying.
He went
So-
to Howard University.
Right. Well, yeah, that's like those are things like you
Wikipedia
can
stuff.
like publicly look up, right? But as
Yeah.
far as him sharing like
Yeah.
deep things, and I think that's cool.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
agree.
just because you're a public figure doesn't mean like everyone's got to know your whole life, your background. Like sometimes like I think some things should just be for people that like are close to you. Like
Yeah.
they earn that. They earn that information. Same thing as like, I don't know, sharing the bed with somebody. You know what I mean? Like somebody earns that privilege to be with you in that space, So
Can I
I feel
ask-
like that falls in the category.
And I'm so glad we do this podcast. I've always wondered. I didn't post anything about him, not because I wasn't aware. I didn't post anything about it because I feel like kind of weird. Like, is it weird to say like a bandwagoner? What do you guys honestly?
Because everyone posts like a picture of him and stuff.
I didn't do any of that. What? How do you guys feel about people that post it? I don't want to assume anything of other people that post it, but all of a sudden everyone's posting it. Rest in peace, and all the things that we see. Any thoughts?
I think it's a combination of people just wanting to express condolences, even though obviously there's no way to reach the people who are genuinely affected by his passing.
What do the condolences do, though? Is this a stupid question? Like when people do that,
That's not a stupid question.
like in life, like in general.
I honestly want to know when people that I know or kind of know, including myself. I haven't watched all his stuff. I don't know really much about him besides Black Panther. I have an idea of what he stood for, but that's another reason why I don't want to post his stuff because I feel like a poser. So I feel like other people are being, not everyone, but people I know definitely they're doing it out of like, I guess they almost feel like,
they feel like they have to.
yeah. Like, this is not even him, just
guess
in
so.
general. Like, do you get what I'm saying? How do you feel
I
about
do.
that?
I'm sure there's people that feel like they have to, I guess, for some reason, but I think
Out of respect.
for you, shoot, I low-key lost what I was gonna say.
Like, I have to really care about it, right? Like, I care about it, but just because...
And our,
No,
like if
okay.
you,
do you really
I
have to... Okay,
remember.
do you really have to post something to care about something?
I think that condolences do matter because it's the same thing as like, man, my day sucks, and then like someone's like, man, like I hope it gets better. It's kind of like the same thing as like prayers, right? Like as far as like putting energy out to the universe, it falls in that category. Like I hope your day gets better. I hope you get that job, bro. Like little things like that. Instead of saying like you're not gonna get that job, that energy is real. That energy goes out to the universe. So same thing as like my condolences to his family. It's like, I wish him the best. I wish, his family the best. Like, my condolences. And then and at the same time, like, people that are sharing it, I think most people were like a fan of Black Panther. They were a
Absolutely.
fan of what he did. He did
and we're
Jackie
affected by
Robinson.
his work in some way. It
Right.
hit them,
I
it
mean,
made them feel a
most
certain
people.
way.
I mean, the Avengers the freaking saga was like the biggest saga in ever.
Yeah.
And he was a part of that, and I think made it even bigger with the standalone Black Panther movie. So it doesn't matter what your politics are. Like everyone likes Avengers, and everyone liked him as the Black Panther.
Like everyone loves Black
Everyone
Panther.
loved the Black Panther. He's the freaking, to me, the dopest one.
Hell yeah.
Like as far
All
as
the
like,
way.
like I remember when I saw it when he was with the in the Civil War movie when he showed
Yeah.
the Civil War, I'm like, oh, this dude's badass.
Yeah.
Like the way he was flipping and just dope. So anyway,
Hell yeah.
I'm
I'm about to rewatch that tonight.
Me too, bro. I'm about to do like an appreciation watch, man.
100%.
I
There
was thinking
didn't
about doing that
I
last
forget
night.
was that you who posted like because they're gonna show Black Panther on television as like a
That's great.
Like a thing?
Isn't it like on Disney Plus or something?
it's on Disney Plus, but like ABC the channel is gonna play Black Panther and like afterwards
Yeah.
like remembrance.
They should
like,
play all
thing.
his movies. They should play Jackie Robinson.
And they're gonna do a commercial free, which I think
That's
is
great.
cool.
Good.
So that they're not selling
They're
ad
not
time on
selling,
this.
right.
So like they're just playing it in appreciation. I
I'm
think that's
sure-
a great way to do it.
I'm sure there's foundations or there's charities right now as far as when it comes to colon cancer, but there
For sure,
definitely
man.
should be a movement on that. Have you guys, not to take too long on this, but have you guys ever thought about colon cancer? Do you guys know anything about that? I've always been worried about it, even when I was like young.
It's a scary way. It's a scary like
Dude,
thought. Like I wouldn't.
So the stats behind it is that you got to get checked when you're 50, but I mean, anything can happen, but usually it's like genetic and it's more.
Yeah, he was
certain.
43, so
I know,
I'm
that's-
assuming he got checked.
So young, dude. 43.
Like that's
Yeah.
just, that's just
crazy.
weird. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
But they do say, I did some research. They say it is prone with African Americans. Don't know why exactly. Not quite sure.
I mean, isn't it connected to like health and stuff like that?
Yeah.
There's a
You
lot.
think that's something
There's
to
a
do-
lot. There's a lot of
That's
factors.
that's a deeper conversation.
Conversation.
For sure.
Yeah. Which we'll
So.
talk about next episode, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.